All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, welcome back, everybody. Another Ticket Training Tuesday. So happy to see so many faces here, recognize some names, see some new ones. So, welcome again, one and all. Today, we're going to be talking about the email connector, which is, I think, something that a lot of us have kind of a love-hate relationship with. But one thing we can all agree on is that it's a pretty useful topic and something that we kind of just want to hash out the nuances of. So, basically, we're just going to go over kind of what the email connector is explicitly, kind of talk about the things that don't get processed, because I think that's something that some people get confused about sometimes. Some of the frequently asked questions that we receive just on the help desk side to kind of preempt anything that anybody has. Short little demo, and then some time for questions at the end if I didn't cover what you had already. Just some housekeeping at the beginning. As you may have seen, I started recording this just a minute ago, so everybody's aware we do record these and they will be posted on the Tikit help site. Let me pull up that link really quickly. They usually get published within within 48 hours, but if they're not there and you want to see them, just let us know at help at Tikit AI, and we'll be more than happy to provide those. But here's the link in chat now. Yep, at that link. So that's where you can find all the recordings of these once they're published. So if you haven't met me before, once again, I'm Jackson. I'm a member of the help team at Tikit. I am one of the people you have probably talked to before if you've ever sent in a request for help. So hello. Yeah, it's about me. So yeah, what is the email connector? It is just basically how we read emails submitted to a shared mailbox and how we create tickets from that. Basically, whenever a new email is submitted, we log whoever is sending the email as the requester, and that's how we log that. Whoever is also CC'd on that email will become an affected user on the ticket. So if it's just you, but oh, 3 other people are affected by this ticket, you can just CC them. They'll become the affected user automatically. And so whenever a new ticket is created, whatever you have in the subject line, that'll be the title of your request. So if you have an email, just have a subject of my printer isn't working, that's going to be the title of the request. And then anything that you include in the body of the email, that's going to be added as a comment. And also any attachments that are included in the email, those will also be attached to the email automatically. Whenever you as an assignee receive a ticket from email, whenever you reply to it, that comment is going to be sent to the requester by email. And actually that kind of touches on a broader topic. Whatever source a ticket comes from, that's what the notification is going to be delivered as. But for our cases, if you have something submitted by email and you respond to it, in the Teams portal or in the web portal, that notification is going to be sent out to the requester by email. And then also, if you have knowledge deflection turned on and it's an internal user that is submitting your ticket, knowledge articles can be deflected via email as well, which is just kind of a nice to have feature. So a couple of things that do not get processed that I want to call out specifically. Any email that is not of the IPM.note class. So what does that mean? For anybody that doesn't know, IPM.note is just any general email in Microsoft Outlook. And the things that don't get processed are things that are not of IPM.note class. So what that means is like calendar invites or reminders. Basically that anything that isn't just a pure email will not get processed by the email connector. Something else that doesn't get processed by the email connector is tickets from other ticket shared mailboxes. So what that means is if you have multiple teams set up, you use multi-department picker, anything along those lines, and you have multiple mailboxes set up for each of your individual teams. If you wanted to forward something to another mailbox, that wouldn't get processed as a ticket, and you wouldn't get a response from it. You wouldn't no ticket would be created, and that is specifically to avoid these infinite loops from getting created. Whenever you send an email, you get the response that says a ticket's been created, and you can see how that will just bounce back and forth. We want to prevent that, so we just don't process tickets from emails from other ticket emails. Thirdly, what doesn't get processed is any email that contains the exact string Microsoft Exchange. And the reason behind that is kind of similar to the second point, where we just don't want that bounce back to happen. A lot of non-deliverable receipts contain the phrase Microsoft Exchange. And so that's just kind of to prevent that. If you have a non-delivery report that gets sent back saying, yo, blah, 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 email wasn't delivered, Microsoft Exchange is, 99% of the time included in that email. So we just straight up do not process emails that contain that exact string. Some of the frequently asked questions that we get, where is my missing email? We all know the struggles of sometimes an email doesn't get picked up. We have no idea why. And, us at the help team get an email saying, hey, my email didn't process. The way our email processor works is typically, 9 out of 10 times, emails get picked up immediately, tickets created, business as usual. Sometimes, for whatever reason, if that ticket doesn't get picked up by the email processor, email connector, we have what is called email polling, and that runs 5 minutes after the top of every hour. And that's basically serves as like a catch-all, a fallback for any ticket or any email that doesn't get caught by the email connector normally. It will check for emails not within the last hour, but 2 hours ago that have been submitted and anything that hasn't been created as a ticket. And then it will only check up to 24 hours ago. And something to call out specifically there is if you have a ticket that's been created from email and it's in your, ticket queue, it's in your mailbox still. If that email is marked as unread and you delete the ticket in, WebTicket AI or in Teams, and you haven't deleted the email, when email polling runs again, it's going to recreate an email specifically, or it's going to recreate a ticket from that email specifically because when we ask for your consent to implement the email connector, we only ask for read permissions. We do not ask for write permissions. And so the ticket email connector does not have permission to mark that email as read. We only have permission to read it incoming. So yeah, that's just a little nuance to pay attention to and to kind of keep in mind that whenever you are, about to submit an email or about to be like, hey, where's my ticket? Maybe wait for the email polling to run. Like I said, 5 minutes after the top of every hour. If it's been submitted within the last 2 to 24 hours, it should get picked up, by whenever the polling runs. Like I mentioned in the previous slide, how can I add attachments by email? You can just add an attachment like normal to an email. Whenever you submit it to the mailbox, it will get picked up by the email connector and it will be added as an attachment, or should be added as an attachment to the email. You can also follow up with any of your replies, add an attachment, and those will all get documented as attachments to your ticket. Another thing to keep in mind is, say for whatever reason you delete the original response from Ticket that says we've received your email, or you've deleted any sort of correspondence you have with an agent that you're working with. Any ticket or any email that you submit to the mailbox that has a # followed by the ticket ID, that email will be added as a comment to the ticket that's currently active, or whatever ticket matches that ticket ID in the subject. So say you have, ticket number 12, you delete it, you want to respond to it. If you create a new email, send it to your mailbox, and you include the ticket ID number with 12, the rest of the subject doesn't matter, but just as long as the number, the # followed by the ticket ID is in the subject, the contents of that email will be added to the ticket as a comment. And again, like I said, how do I know what kind of notifications are received whenever I submit a ticket via email? Whatever source that the ticket is from, that is what is going to be delivered as a notification. So a ticket kind of can intuitively sense whatever source is coming from, and then that is what the notification will be delivered as. Cool. So I just want to kind of do a quick demo of what that looks like in real life. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And I got a lot of windows open. Okay. Here we go. Cool. So I believe my screen is sharing. Let me know if anybody can't see it, but here's my ticket dashboard. Here's my mailbox. Mailboxes are also very easy to add once you've created a shared mailbox. You can just click on the folder, add shared folder and mailbox, and we have mine here. So I'm going to create an email. It's going to go to the networking email. If I wanted to add any sort of affected user, I could do that in the CC field. But since I'm sending it from my account here, Adele, this is going to be logged as the requester. So subject, I'm just going to say my printer is broken. We all hate printers. And for the subject or the body, I'm just going to say, please help me with fixing my printer, smiley. I'm going to send that off. So since we have the shared mailbox here, I'm not going to click on it or click into the email, but we see that it's delivered into the shared mailbox. I should be receiving a response fairly shortly from the shared mailbox, and it'll be from whatever email you decide to name. So I have mine named as networking at Zemasoft. So once that comes in, we can verify that a ticket has been created, or it should have been anyway. We'll give it a minute to see if it pulls in, which it should. And you can see it sometimes does take just a moment to pull in these emails, but like I mentioned, it should be fairly instantaneously. It shouldn't be more than, 2 or 3 minutes for these tickets to get pulled in. I did just create an automation earlier to automatically move these, but here we go. So just takes a minute or two. However, you can see that oh, you know what? I think I may have accidentally stumbled upon another automation that I've created. So this might be why we didn't see the ticket automatically create and why, yeah, okay. I stumbled upon another automation. However, you can also see that's a great opportunity to demonstrate this. If you have any sort of like template that gets applied for any of these emails that come in or any general tickets, you can also fill out custom forms with these. So another little thing to keep in mind. So printer, I'm just going to say rather submit. So you can see it said, well, we received a reply, we'll respond shortly. So this should respond with the whatever email you have set up in Notification Center. So you can see that once this comes up, send response when ticket is created, should say your ticket ID with the request title. We received your request and will reply shortly. We also have hello world here. So you can see I have a notification in my mail. Ticket number 251, we received your request and we will reply shortly. Ticket ID followed by the request. We can also see in my tickets. My printer is broken. The requester is me, Adele Vance. Please help me with fixing my printer, smiley. So subject, anything in the body. And then let's say I wanted to, reply to this. I want to add an attachment here. Okay, let's do that. Let's attach a file. I'm going to attach a picture of a jellyfish because they're my favorite animal. Going to send that. And so once that is read, should be read pretty shortly. We saw it just sent fully. In a moment, that should be added as an attachment here. Give it a second to load. But yeah, once that delivers and once it's read by the email connector, we should see it come in here as attachments. Which before we do another example, I just want that to pop up. So yeah, you can see it just takes a moment for these to come up. Okay, here we go. So not as, oh, yes, that's attachment, just took a second. We see I submitted my picture, jellies.jpg, came as attachment, so this came as a comment here. And we see what it is. It's gonna pop up another window, never mind. Okay, regardless, just a picture of jellyfish. So yeah, that is one example. We could also see, let me do one where we add an affected user as well. I'm gonna add, let's add Alex Wilbur as an affected user. So I'm gonna create a new email. I'm gonna say it's going to networking, and I'm gonna CC Alex Wilbur. I'm gonna add a subject, Alex and I have forgotten how to get into the building. And I'm not going to add any comment. I'm not going to add any body to it. I'm just going to have the subject, and I'm going to send that off. So like we saw, once that gets sent, it's going to get into the ticket, into the shared mailbox. We'll see that in just a moment. But since I added Alex as a CC, he should be added as an affected user here in a moment. So, and you can also see any response that you send to the ticket, to the shared mailbox. It's going to get logged in the shared mailbox as well. So Alex and I have forgotten how to get into the building. We should be getting a ticket about that or response to that fairly quickly. As you saw previously, it just kind of takes a moment or two for the mailbox to see it, read it, create a ticket, respond. There's just a couple of things going on in the back end that need to be done before everything is completed. So I'm just going to wait until we get the notification there. We should be seeing in the tickets once it goes, and of course it wants to take its sweet time, but you know, if somebody is submitting an email to you, it's just going to appear. You're not going to have to do all this rigmarole of waiting for it to get created. It'll just appear for you. See, and this is where, if for whatever reason you did have a ticket that didn't get picked up, whenever email polling runs, it would pick it up at 5 minutes after the top of the hour. Worst case scenario. So Adele Vance was the one that submitted it. Alex Wilbur was CC'd, so you can see added affected user Alex Wilbur. In properties, you can see Alex Wilbur under the affected users. So that's just another way to add affected users to something. And then last thing I want to show is, say you had, for whatever reason, and we receive an email from that ticket being created. So back to the printer is broken one. That's number 251. Let's say for whatever reason I had deleted that. Oh no. Okay. You can just create a new email, send it back to that shared mailbox you have, and then if you include number 251, you should be able to add a comment that says, I fixed my printer. Because how many times have you broken something, unplugged it, plugged it back in, forgotten you've done all this troubleshooting with support, and then realized, oh, I fixed it. You want to submit an email saying, oh, I fixed it. Don't worry about it anymore. We're good. So once we receive that email in here, we see number 251, I fixed my printer. If we go into number 251, we should see that as a comment, and we do. I fixed my printer. So just kind of a couple of things to share with the email connector. Like I mentioned, in the notification center, you can configure that response you get whenever you have a ticket submitted. We have it just as we receive your request, we'll reply shortly. That all can be changed in here with the send response when tickets created. We have that enabled. If you didn't have it enabled, it wouldn't send the email, but you can change that here to whatever you'd like it to be. And yeah, that's basically it. It's pretty straightforward. You can customize this response email. You can implement it with automations by doing, I'll show you the automation that I had to forward the tickets to Adele. So if you just have the source is equal to email, and then for my purposes, I said the requester is changed to Adele, you do something. But yeah, anything you want with the email connector is source is equal to email, and then that default response that you get from submitting an email is controlled under Notification Center here. But yeah, that is the email connector. Does anybody have any questions? Not sure if that was too rapid fire or not. Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah, so we were in our PBX switch using that functionality to try to send out when somebody leaves us a voicemail in our IT group to
Yep.
do that. But for whatever reason, it will not work when trying to push that out over email through the PBX switch. However, if I have that same message go to my email, then forward it to the ticket, it works that way. I didn't know if maybe perhaps the PBX switch is following one of those rules that you were mentioning at the very beginning, like the non-IPM node or something like that.
Yeah, I think it might be, honestly. I'm not entirely sure how your voicemail to email system works, but I'm inclined to believe that it's probably a non-IPM node. And since you're forwarding it, that basically recreates it as an IPM.node class. So you may just have to set up a rule to forward those emails to your to the shared mailbox.
Okay.
But yeah, great question. But I do believe that it's probably just the voicemail to email is a non-IPM.node. Cool. Anybody else have any questions? And if anybody thinks of anything after this that you would like to ask about the email connector or any other ticket session, you can always reach out to us at help@tikit.ai. We're always willing to answer any questions or troubleshoot you through anything that you're trying to set up with the email connector or anything that you're encountering with it. So cool. If nobody else has anything, I'll go ahead. I'll end this meeting just a couple minutes early. Like I said, if you have anything else, feel free to reach out to us at help@tikit.ai, and we look forward to seeing you in next week's session.